Hello, everyone. Good morning and good evening. Welcome back. Welcome to Cloud and DevOps Batch 56. So before I start the session, I would like to give a quick recap on what's being covered in the previous session. Yesterday in the session, we have created the infrastructure, which is nothing but a server by using a launch template. And we clearly saw the advantage of using a launch template. Also, AWS by default enforces you to use a to use the authentication that goes by username and password, but username and password is not a great way of authentication. Instead, in corporate and in companies, we authenticate by using keys, by using username and password. Similarly, I also published an AMI that works with a username and a password. Okay, and the name of the AMI is initially to start with Linux, we need to have a basic AMI. So that's the reason that works with a username and password. And the name of the AMI is a username is CentOS and the password is password23 while P is in capital letter. Also, by creating the server, we saw an option called a shared tenancy. Tenancy is nothing but how your hardware, underlying hardware, where your infrastructure, where your server is running, should be utilized. Whether it can be utilized by multiple customers, or if a hardware is allocated, or if a machine is running, a virtual machine is running on the top of it, all the associated machines that are launched on the top of the machine should be belonging to the particular host. If not, it's not going to be allowed. And also there is also another type of host called as a dedicated host, where the entire host would be given to you. It also falls under the category of bare metal. Okay, and also we discussed about with respect to billing, there are three varieties of billings. One is on-demand instance. Whenever you're not sure how many days, how many months you're going to use, you typically end up going with on-demand instance. But in companies, we end up consuming either by going reserved instance or savings plan, where your company signs up a contract telling that in this particular year or for the next 3 years, we are going to utilize this much amount of CPU and this much amount of memory, how much discount you are going to give. Either that can be gone by reserving certain type of instances, or you can also reserve certain number of CPU and certain number of memory. And if you go with reserved instances, whether you use that server or not, irrespective of that, you need to pay, because since you gave a commitment to Amazon, Amazon has offered you discount. Now whether you utilize it or not is secondary, but you need to pay the bill. Okay, almost all the companies goes with that, because in order to avail great discount, they go with the reserved instance. And another is spot. Spot is a gold. Spot instance is a gold. Gold instance where you can avail more than 95+% of the discount. And instead, a lot of people have reported when they are creating a server, when they're trying to connect to it by using SSH, CentOS at the rate username and password, they are facing connection timeout. Okay, so the moment they try to do this, they are facing something called as a connection timeout. What is this connection timeout? Okay, so in order to understand that, you need to understand one more small point. This is technically certain people who are already using the old accounts, or who has created a brand new accounts. So in order to understand that, we need to understand the concept of firewall. Okay, so what is a firewall? Okay, so firewall is a software or a hardware component or a hardware component that allows or denies specific traffic from specific range. So how that works is, so this is not just related to cloud or anything. This is a conventional concept. Okay. So for example, you're having a server. Okay. Now here, this server, now I do not want everyone to be connecting to the server and do whatever they want to do. No, I don't want that. So I want to define this. For example, this is a Linux server. Okay. Now I want to say people who are accessing this server on port number 22, I do not want to be connected. But people who are connecting to the server from their home network, they should be able to. They should not be able to connect. But people who are trying to SSH to the server from the office network, they should be able to connect. This is to ensure that the access, you can also say that I do not want any of the requests that are coming from this particular region. Again, that falls under some advanced networking concepts. So you need to do that. So how can we do that? So this is a networking concept, firewall and networking. If you take this image, okay, so all your corporate infrastructure would be behind the firewall. Anyone who want to access this infrastructure has to be defined. For example, you are staying in Bangalore. In Bangalore, for almost all good number of apartments, they have a concept where they do not want to allow everyone. For example, if your flat number is 103, you have an application where, for example, you can put a rule telling that I do not want any of the delivery boys or food delivery boys or people from any e-commerce company shouldn't be coming to my home. If someone comes to my home and says that I am coming from Flipkart, straight away say that do not allow or don't allow them, because security. For example, I have ordered something in Amazon. I'm expecting an order. So you can go to the app and tell in the security app telling that, hey, I'm expecting a delivery from Amazon. If anyone comes and says that I need to deliver a packet to 103, ensure you deliver it. And you deliver it only on Monday and Tuesday of this week so that your security will be updated. If you go and ask your security, if the delivery boy comes and says that to the security, I want to deliver a packet to 102, he'll check in the app. So in the list, allow list, so whom to allow, your delivery details are there, they are going to allow it. The same concept, okay? There is a classic example. So the same thing goes for machines as well, right? So this is another example. This is public network, which is nothing but an internet. Internet is nothing but a public network, okay? And this is internal network. Internal network is nothing but intranet or a corporate network, your office network, your private network, your intranet. Public network is called as an internet. Private network, like your corporate network, office network, these are called as a intranet. Okay. And here what it says is who can access this internal network. You need to understand this point very clearly. Who can access this internal network? Who can access this internal network? So from the public, I do not want people to be accessing. Okay. Or I can mention I want certain set of people should be coming. Those rules you are going to define it here. Typically in a on-prem infrastructure, this particular component was handled by a separate team called as a network team. But in cloud, all these things can be handled by the same cloud engineer itself. Let's talk about that, what exactly I meant. Okay. All right. So let me try to stop. So let me try to pick some image. The image. It's a pretty big image. So we are going to attach a firewall, and that firewall will be to each and every server that you are going to create. Okay. And again, at the outside also you can have, but in Amazon world, each and every firewall, okay, firewall is a conventional word, but in cloud, they have their own wording. Okay. In AWS, we call that as, okay, in AWS, we call it as a security group. Okay. Security group is nothing of firewall, which is attached to each and every server. Okay. You can have one security group or one firewall that can be added to thousands of servers. That is also possible. Okay. So this is your corporate infrastructure, for example. All right. And this is the public network, or which is nothing but internet. Okay. Whatever the request that you do, everything will go from internet, right? and this is from your home. And this is your computer. Okay, if anyone wants to access this, okay, typically this is from public network, from your home network over the internet. It goes and hits the server, and from the server it's gonna hit. And if the rules are allowed, okay, for example, if the rule is allowed, telling that hey, this can be allowed, then your connection will be established. If it's not allowed, then it's not going to be established. Okay, and that's the reason. See, time out. Okay, whenever you see the word time out, okay, this is very important. Whenever you're working, there is slight difference between timeout and refused. When you see the error as timeout, that means this is something related to network firewall, network related thing. Okay, that means you are not allowed. Okay, that means there is a policy that is telling you not to connect, and that's the reason it is attempting for certain amount of time, and then eventually it is stopping trying to connect, and that's the reason it's a time out. I tried and then I ran out of time. And connection refused is like the connection is receiving. So that means the request is coming inside, okay, but some process is denying it. Okay, so when you say connection refused, the request is reaching inside, but the server or the service is denying it. Okay, so this is server is denying it. Okay, so maybe you're trying to reach a service that is not there. Maybe you're trying to reach a service which is not accepting. Okay, so whenever you see the error, based on the error, your troubleshooting should start. The moment you see the timeout, you should clearly understood, this is something that's related to a firewall. That means I need to go and look at the firewall. And if you see something as refused, that means, oh, the firewall connections are good, but the service is not accepting the request. That's how you need to troubleshoot. I'll also ask you another very important question. Okay, I'll also ask you a very important question. This is a single server, and on the top of the server, I am connecting using SSH, right? Okay, fine. Now, for example, you are running another application like web server. Okay, for example, you are running some mail server, mail, mail. You're running some mail application. You're also running another mail application. And second thing is, you're also running some time application. For example, now the server is having one IP address, right? 100 dot. Okay, you're having one single IP address, right? You're having one single IP address, but anyone who wants to talk to this server, for example, I want to do SSH. I want to talk to mail application, or I want to talk to time application. You just have a single application. How the server comes to know where the request has to be processed, whether it has to be processed by SSH application, or it has to be processed by mail application, or it has to be processed by time application. How does it come to know? Anyone? We have a single IP address. If it is 3 servers, then it's fine. But how about this? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone interested to answer? Yeah, Amlan, go ahead. How?
By port number.
Exactly. So there is a logical concept in networking called as port. Port is like a logical address. Okay. So each and every, yeah, thank you, Amlan. That's really a good thing. Appreciate your spirit. For each and every service that we run, okay, as already predefinedly defined. If you're using SSH, by default, your server works on port number 22. It's a logical thing, not a physical thing. And if you are working on mail server, mail means SMTP that works on port number 22. NTP, network time protocol, that works on different port number. Likewise, and like for those are already defined. And that's the reason we are directly using it. In our training, we are going to use almost 10 to 15 services. You even might have to remember 10 to 15 services. Okay, so if someone asks you, hey, try to SSH to the server, that means they're asking you to connect to the server by using port number 22. And if someone asks you, hey, go and check the mail server, that means they are asking you to check by by using 25. Okay. And for example, you also have something called as FTP. That means file transfer protocol. If you want to copy some file from external to internal, or if you want to copy the file from internal to external, you need to use. Okay. FTP protocol, I think 21 or 22. FTP protocol. So likewise and likewise, there are a lot. It means that you can either use port number 20 or 21. That's by default. Okay. So so these are all something that are systems defined that is already there from a very long time. So for each and every service, so by default, if you say, okay, SSH, okay, IP address column 22, that means it reaches this one. And if you say IP at browser, okay, not on tools, and you say SSH25, that it reaches to mail service within the server. And if you say IP address column 21, then it reaches to the particular service. Okay, that's how it is coming to now. Now coming back to the topic, why you guys are seeing a security group timeout exception? That's because all the new accounts that are created are not having a default are not having a security group that allows everything. What I want is I want every one of you to create a firewall. Okay, so let me try to connect. I'm trying to sign in with my root user. So let me go to the EC2 service. EC2 stands for Elastic Cloud Compute, which is a server as a service. Go here and try to click on EC2. EC2 stands for Elastic Cloud Compute. Come and click on EC2. Okay. Now here at the left side, you have an option called a security group. Did you see this? I want every one of you to follow the same thing. Okay. What I want is I want you to create a security group. Security group is a AWS terminology. Okay. So I want you guys, every one of you, to create a security group whose name is B56 allow all. Okay. And description as this security groups allow allows all. Okay. So that's it. And here in the inbound rule, inbound is like allow. Okay, so click on this, and I would like to say port range is okay anywhere. Okay, when you say 0, it's going to allow everything. Okay, so when you say 0, 0, 0, 0, or if you come here and say anywhere, that means I want any of the requests that are coming from the internet should be accepted irrespective of the port number. Outbound. Okay, that also says that rules with 0000 allows all the IP addresses from the internet. And outbound. Outbound is nothing but the requests that are going from inside to outside. Okay, inbound is nothing but the requests that are coming from outside to inside. Okay, and outbound is nothing but the requests that are going from inside to the outside. These are the networking terminology, by the way, inbound and outbound. Okay, so when you join any troubleshooting call with any application team or any networking team, these are the terms that they typically use. All right, let me try to use a different color. Okay, all right. So this is a Linux server, and for that, this is inbound, and the red is an outbound. Inbound means the connections that are coming or reaching the server, and outbound is the requests that are going outside the server to outside of the server. Okay, and this outbound also I want to add. Okay, where is that? So outbound rule. I want to say I want everything anywhere. That's it. Okay, inbound and outbound, okay, are added. But down the line, in our training, we are going to deal things in a more matured way. Right now, we are going to go with a policy that allows everyone in the internet can access your server if they know your username and password. But typically in corporate, typically at enterprise, and typically in a real-time projects, we do not do that. How do we go in a more matured way is something we're going to talk in session 2 and week 3 or week 4 once we gain more expertise, because the project that we're going to learn itself is a project with 10 to 15 servers. So if we go with the tight security in the beginning itself, we'll encounter a lot of issues, and in the interest of that, we're going to go with say open security. So create a security group. Okay, and I want every one of you to create the template one more time. A lot of people had challenges yesterday, so I would like to create a server one more time. So come here and delete the template. So create a launch template, and you can find. Okay, so before that, guys, I want to thank each and everyone whosoever has expressed their interest to confirm. Okay, majority of the people who are joining today's session, I could say most of them have confirmed their enrollment. People whosoever has confirmed their enrollment, you would have received an email like this. Okay, with all the details, because from Monday sessions are going to be private, guys, and tomorrow will be the last open session. From Monday sessions are going to be private. And in case if you like the content strategy approach, ensure you reach me or ensure you reach your coordinator. You will receive the appropriate details. Please confirm your enrollment or please confirm your subscription so that you'll receive an onboarding email. Okay, just want to update you. Thank you. And majority of the people who has expressed their interest have already got an onboarding email. All right. So yeah, I would like to create the template one more time because few of the students are having challenges. So I would like to create a template one more time. So the template name I would like to mention is B56 Linux lab template. Okay. All right. So come here and all I do is I would like to search for that. And what is this image that I want to search? Come here and say that B56 Linux CentOS 7 Linux Learning AMI. I'm searching for the AMI in the community. A lot of people are searching in AWS Marketplace. Please ensure you search in the community AMI. And I want every one of you to like select this CentOS 7 Linux Learning AMI. Okay, try to select the instance type. I would like to go with the instance type as t3.micro so that things will be a little quick. Okay, and always ensure you select without a key pair. Okay, proceed without a key pair. Okay, but another option is, okay, and another thing is when you are creating a template, Amazon don't allow you to choose a default key pair option or proceed without key pair. Sorry, proceed without key pair option you won't be seeing because in template that is not allowed. As per Amazon, they don't allow you to create servers without password, but we are using our own automation to make things operated with password, just like how things work at scale. Okay, so I don't want to include this option in the template because every time I launch an instance, I would like to specify that. And here I want every one of you to select this. Okay, select as existing security group. We have created a security group whose name is B56 allow all. So I want every one of you to utilize this. Okay, I want every one of you to create a security group that allows everything till the till I say till week 5, week 4 or week 5, till the time we gain more experience in the project and the control how security works. I want every one of you to go with security. And another important point, the AMI that I have published is the size of the AMI is 5 GB. Okay, yesterday someone has asked, so can I increase it to 30 GB? Yes, you can. But can I decrease it less than 5 GB? No, you can't. The base image is 5. That means if you want to have something big, you can always say, but you cannot shrink beyond that. Okay, that is one point that I want to say. Okay, why are we going with GP3 type? Because GP3 is the latest, which is a third generation storage, and I want to go with 10 GB disk. And there is an option called as a deletion on termination. Okay, this is a bit friendly option and at the same time a dangerous option in corporate. The delete on termination means the moment you delete the server, the disks that are attached to that will also be deleted by default. And if you don't want that in lab, that is a friendly option because whenever you terminate the server, that also means I don't want the disk that is attached. But in projects and all, we try to keep it as a this option. That means whenever someone terminates the machine, the underlying disk will still be there so that you won't be losing the data. But in lab, we are going to go with this. Okay, and in enterprise, whatever the data that we store on disk should be encrypted at any cost. Okay, and whatever the data that you see is called as a plain text. Okay, batch 56 with AWS. Okay, this is called as a plain text. Okay, this is called as a plain text. But as per Amazon, as per all the companies, and as per all the policies, saving the data directly as a plain text is not a recommended approach. Instead, it is always recommended to save data at rest. Data should be encrypted at rest. That means whatever you store should never be plain text. It should always be stored at okay, encrypted at rest. When you say encrypted, you'll use some mechanism that is going to convert the data like this, which can only be read by the server or the keys where you supply. Okay, so how to encrypt the data is something also we're gonna see, not immediately right now. Okay, in the week 2, I'm gonna show how encryption works. How can we ensure the data? Okay, there is a saying. Okay, for example, what if the data, the disk that you're using, if someone in other account uses it, they'll be able to see your data and it will be a breach, right? Usually that won't happen, but it's always recommended to encrypt the data so that the data will be encrypted at rest. So how to do that is something we're gonna see, but right now I do not want to complicate it. And for now, I just want to create a template, and this is how you're gonna create a template. And once you create a template like this, which is having a security group which allows everything, then you should be seamlessly able to connect to the server. So come here and try to see whether the template is created or not. So come here and select this. Okay, select this, and you can come here and say launch the instance from the template. You can clearly mention how many number of instances you want. For now, just one instance is enough for me. Okay, now you scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, all the way down. I just want to say key pair name. I don't want any key pair. I just want to go with proceed without a key pair. That allows me to create a server without a key. Okay, but with a username and password. Okay, so Manu, are all the AMIs going to work without username and without keys? No, it all based on the type of AMI you use. Certain AMIs will allow key-based authentication, certain will only allow username password-based authentication. So that's it, seamless, click it. All I did is launch a template and selected proceed without key pair. That's it. I do not have to go and select what is the security group. I do not have to go and search what is the AMI. I do not have to search what is the disk. 5, 6 options were eliminated with a single click of a button. We launched an instance. And I need to wait whether it is coming up or not. I need to wait whether it is coming up or not. Let's wait for it. Okay. I would like to name it as B56 Linux Learning Machine. Perfect. The machine is coming up. So again, when you're using a free tier machine, you might expect to be 56 Linux lab machine. That's it. And do we have okay, someone has asked me that they are not able to see any of the properties here. So the moment you click this option, sometimes you'll get this option and sometimes you don't get. If you look at the left bottom, right bottom, if you look at the left, right bottom of your screen, there is an up arrow. You can also click that up arrow that shows you the properties. Okay, you can scroll it up. You should be able to see all the properties here. Okay, I think Mozam or someone has asked me this question, so just want to explicitly update. So let's try to connect to the server. So I copied the IP address and I'm selecting my git bash, or let me select my git bash. Or if you're using terminal, anything is fine. Okay, always I prefer to go with commands that make sure that I'm very much used to the commands. Okay, SSH, you're telling that I want to connect to the server, and CentOS, which is the username, and IP address. Okay, let's wait for it. I think it is had to come up because the initialization is still progress. Okay, and also yesterday I promised that we're going to learn something today very interesting where we can get 95 to 98% of the discount. How can we achieve 90 to 95% of the discount, and how it's possible? And if it's possible, why are the are other options are available? Why companies might not work spot instances all the time? So what is the strategy? Okay, so let's talk about it. All right, so let it come up. Yes, and if you see this, guys, can you see this connection timeout? Why connection timeout? Let's try to do that one more time. Connection timeout is a serious thing. And I'll go to the security group and I can see V56 security group. And I clearly said allow all port range, edit the inbound rules. And I would like to say allow all, or you can also mention for now, I would like to say 22. I want to allow all the connections that are coming to 22, for example. Okay, even now connection timed out, just a proof. Okay, just a proof. Now you got the connection timeout. I changed the port number to 22. Let's see, what it says. Can you see this? What is that? Now I told, now just like how I gave you a app example where you tell your security to the application, allow people coming from Amazon because I have a delivery packet. Same thing. So 22, you're connected. And guys, a lot of people are asking, Manu, I'm entering the password that the cursor is not moving. The cursor won't move. All you need to do is enter the password and hit enter. That's it. Okay, and don't expect that the cursor will move just like how it's moving. Okay, when you're entering the password, the cursor is not going to move, because it is not even going to give a hint to the person who is sitting next how many characters the password is. Okay, so Linux is very, very secure. Okay, I'm entering the password, you can clearly see the cursor is not moving. All right, this is how we can connect to a server using a template. Any questions, anyone? Yes, Mozam.
Hi Manu, my question is that since you had open security settings, why it did not allow you since anyone could have accessed it? Why you needed to specify port 22 and then it allowed you?
Because SSH works on port number 22.
No, but your security setting was that allow all, everybody is welcome.
That's just a name, right?
Okay.
Allow all,
Okay.
that's a name, right? Agree? And why
Okay.
22 allowed SSH? Because SSH is something which is designed to operate on the top of port number 22. And that's why it is working. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And what is 0000? 0000 means allow everyone. That's it. Make sense?
Okay.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. So that is one way of dealing the thing. So the other thing is, yesterday we talked about spot instances, right? So how can we give 95 to 90 to 95% of the discount by whenever you use spot instances? Whatever I said is true or not? Whatever I said is true or not? Let's try to go with AWS billing calculator. Okay. I'll go and say AWS billing calculator. Let's say I would like to go with t3.large, just for an example. I want to show you how difference it's going to show. Okay, so create an estimate and come here. I'm going to give you a detailed explanation on why and all, but for now I would like to start with some detailed information. And search for a service, it's EC2. Yes, Ajay, hi, go ahead. So the location is EC2. And tenancy, I'm going with shared. Okay, and constant number of instances 1, and I would like to go with the t3.large, which gives you some handsome instances. Okay, you can see this here, t3.large. Select this option. Okay, which gives me a billing of, if I go, okay, let's talk about on demand. Okay, it's going to, okay, it's gonna charge you, okay, $60 per month. Okay, $60 per month. So come here, or let's say 0.0832 instance per hour for T3.large when it is on demand. T3.large. It is on demand. It's per hour. Okay, 0.0832. Right? Now the same thing you go to, okay, you go to spot. Okay, so spot, you can even check that in the same panel itself. We have something called as spot requests. You come here and click the spot request. You can come and click in the pricing history, and the spot instance billing is not constant across the time. It goes by bidding. What exactly I meant? Let's talk about it. Okay, now I'm interested about, okay, T3.large, T3.large. Okay, and I'm gonna use this, and I want to check the price in the last 1 week. Okay, and if you go with this 0.0832 per hour. Okay, and if you go with this 0.044, which is really less. Okay, you come here and if you see, this, if you go with the spot instance T3.large, how much discount you are getting? See how efficient, how quick, how cool it is. Okay, but certain sort of instances you even get better discount. For example, if you come here and see T3.micro in lab, ours is a very big project. We're gonna consume a lot, and we even end up the free tier. Now at that time when we go with the T3 micro, and if you go with this, it's just costing you 0.047 per hour. How much is 0.047 means? Let's say go and ask the internet. Okay, so come and into 82. That means if you use one server, okay, into 82, it's just like $0.047, right? It's just like 0.3 rupee. It's just like 30 paisa per hour. Even if you run 10 servers continuously 1 hour, you just get 3 to 5 rupees bill. That much efficient things would be if you use spot instances. But there are a lot of caveats. There are a lot of points to remember when you're using spot. Okay, spot gives you close to 95% of the discount. Okay, so this is going to be a very interesting thing. Okay, so before that I could see a hand raised for Ajay. Ajay, hi, go ahead.
Do we need to specify inbound rule against each application?
For example, if you're running 5 applications, one application works on port 10 and another application works on port 20 and another application works on port 30, another application works on port 40. And if you want to allow public to access application A, which works on port number 10, yes, you need to say that. Okay, if you are having 5 applications, obviously you run it against the 5 different ports. So which one needs to be allowed needs to be mentioned very specifically. All right, that's the main idea behind using port numbers. Clear, Ajay?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. So spot instance points to be considered. First things, okay. Again, it has a lot of positives and negatives, but behind negatives, it's all about trade-offs. What you get versus what you can get. Okay, spot offers you close to 95% of the discount. On demand. Okay. Second thing, spot instances are not designed to handle production workloads. This point you should be very, very clear. Okay. Spot instances cannot run more than 24 hours. It might, after 24 hours, at any cost, either it goes for a restart or termination. This point should be very, very clear. Okay. The reason is why we'll discuss that. Okay, that's one very important consideration you need to keep in mind. Okay, Spot instances can be terminated at any time by AWS with or without notice. This is also a very important point to be considered. Okay. Next thing. Earlier, the only option that you have for spot is to start. Okay, you can just start. Okay, there was no stop option earlier, not now. Okay, but from last 6 months or 1 year, okay, but from last 1 year, by enabling certain options, you can even shut down the machine. Okay, so these points you should be very I mean, you should be very clear on how you use spot instances, but majority of the instances when you join any company or anything, majority, if you attend 5 interviews, 3 to 4 interviews, they'll ask you, hey, what best you have done in your organization? Can you tell me any certain things that made your company to reduce their billing? These kinds are quite they're quite common. If you attend any interviews in India or states, this question is quite common. Okay, so how it's possible? So if it is offering 95% of the discount, why we cannot use only spot? Okay, so why Amazon is known for certain stability and reliability, why they are going to shut down the instance, and why you cannot run more than 24 hours? And second thing, if your spot instance terminated by AWS in less than 1 hour of provisioning, you don't have to pay. Okay, so yes, so let me give you certain interesting points. All right, why Amazon has to offer 95% discount if the same machine can be gained more money if someone takes, right? And why Amazon says that Amazon terminates your instance at any point of time with or without notice? And why you cannot run more than 24 hours? To understand this point, you need to understand how things work within the data center. So for example, you assume this is inside the Amazon data center. Let's assume this is an Amazon data center. For example, this is the infrastructure in AWS cloud. Okay, let's assume this way. So about this, I like to keep things as perfect as possible. So yeah, okay, never mind. So you have the infrastructure. Now Amazon also keeps the future demands in mind. For example, I might have told Amazon that I'm going to use the reserved instance for the next 3 years, these many instances, but I'm not using it. Within Amazon, they are still lying, right? And you might even think, okay, there are certain things like where you can commit Amazon during this period, I'm going to use it. Okay, so since you reserve something for certain period of time, obviously you are intended to use, but you may or may not be used. With these cases in mind, there are certain infrastructure which is left idle, even though Amazon is going to make money out of it, but not utilized right now. Some great mind has given an idea. Why can't we offer these unused instances of time bean instances which are not used time bean? Why can't we make money out of it? Okay, so for example, customer A is accessing, is running 100 machines. Okay, so but Amazon can accommodate 200, 300 machines as well. Okay, but rest of the 200, 300 machines are left idle. Okay, now customer B, what he can do is, if he's okay to run some non-production workloads, for example, there are some workloads like your development workloads, or for example, you want to hire a team and you have given an opportunity to a 30 interns from very nice university. And as a part of the initial learning and POC, everyone is expected to have a workstation. So just like a Linux machine. So you have provisioned 20 people, 20 Linux machines. You cannot give reserved and you cannot give this one, right? It's very costly. Instead, if you provision them a spot instance, it is going to be very inexpensive and you'll get up to 95% discount. And even if Amazon terminates that instance, that's really okay, because they can recreate it and it's not going to create any outage, or it's not going to create any potential data loss to them. So that's okay. Even if the machine goes for a restart, the intern can accommodate, but not the production workloads, right? You have certain sandbox environment. Sandbox environment is like a playground environment where you can test a lot of things. So in that environment also, you really don't need to have a serious machines. There you can have spot machines where you can accommodate the restart or shutdown or termination of the machine, but you still enjoy 90% of the discount, right? So at that time, you can go with spot instance. So for example, customer B is running, okay, very serious workloads on 100 machines, but still the AWS data center, I'm just giving two as a example, but Amazon can still can still accommodate 50 more machines. That means 50 more machines are left idle, okay, which can be accommodated. That is the capacity of Amazon machine here. For example, 150 machines. This is just a, 1 second. It's just an example number. Okay, it can accommodate 150 machines. Customer A is running 100 machines. He's a potential customer and using all the reserved instances. And customer B wants to run some 30 machines. Okay, and since Amazon has committed this customer that you have reserved 150 instances and it's your right to use, whenever you say, I want to run to a maximum of 150 missions, I'm going to give you. That's a promise, right? So these 50 missions are going to be allocated only to you. And second thing, it doesn't mean that Amazon cannot use this. So what they can do is they can temporarily provision machines to other customers. For example, customer wants some machines which he is going to use for some workloads. Okay, he says that I want 30 machines. Okay, and I am another customer. Maybe see, I says I want again the same set of 30 machines. Okay, now these machines get huge discount, right? But a lot of people are ready to buy. Okay, so for non-production workloads, even he wants 30 machines. Now all of them are ready to put 30 machines, are ready to buy the 30 machines, and all three customers are even ready. Even if Amazon terminates their 30 machines at any time, they are okay. And the reason, then the moment they place the request, it goes for bidding. Okay, what is a bidding? Bidding is nothing but if the same product is needed by multiple people, we'll put a bid, right? The base price is for $100. I'll say $101. Then Karthik says $102. Then Jagan says $105. It goes for a bid. The same way, it goes for a bid in an automated approach. Whoever puts more money, they get the request. But okay, for example, for one customer, we can say 30 requests, 30 missions are provisioned. For another customer, 20 missions are provisioned out of 30. Okay, the moment you place a spot request, it may or may not be provisioned. That is a very important point that you need to keep in mind. Okay, now your request is provisioned, done. Both of your requests are fulfilled, and for this guy, only 20 missions are provisioned. So customer B and customer C's missions are provisioned, done. And customer A, he's running some offers, and due to that, he needs more machines. And there is some automation called as auto scaling that is going to immediately update the machines from 100 to 150. Okay, now Amazon has to fulfill the request. You know what will happen? Immediately, customer B and customer C spot instances are going to be terminated to give the customer A the first preference, because you are paying more, customer is paying more, and he already committed that he's going to use. So it's Amazon's or the cloud provider's responsibility to provision. Immediately your requests are going to be cancelled. That means your infrastructure is going to be terminated in order to accommodate customer A. These type of instances are called as spot instances. Okay, and that's the reason Amazon offers you up to 95 plus, okay, 95% of discount when compared to on demand. And again, I'm telling, spot instances are not designed to accommodate customer facing machines or the production machines or the money making machines. Okay, and whenever you want to run any spot machine for more than 24 hours, ensure you cannot run it for more than 24 hours. It goes for a restart or termination as per Amazon's availability, but for sure it goes for a restart. And second thing, fourth thing, spot instances can be terminated by Amazon at any time with or without notice. Okay, there is no stop or shutdown machine. That's one very important point you need to remember. Okay, but from last 1 year, Amazon updated this option. You can still shut down the machine, but in certain interviews, people, if some other guy who don't know this option, who was still thinking that you cannot shut down the machine, has asked the question, he would expect, hey, you cannot shut down the machine. But in case if you encounter that, just say them that till last year, till 2021, you cannot shut down the machine, but from last 1.5 year, Amazon has updated that option. You can even shut down the machine. That should be your answer. All right. So, but you know what? You can even use the spot instances for your production workloads. Okay. There are certain principles called as 80-20 principle, 60-40 principle. Okay. So you can even use spot instances broad. Okay. So by using, okay, 70-30 principle or 60-40 principle, that means out of my 100 machines, 70 are going to be reserved and 30 are going to be spot. Okay, for example, let's assume the same data center example. Okay, so what you can do is, for example, you're having it's a multi-zonal application. For example, you can use this. This is one payment application. Okay, this is also another payment application. And this is also another payment application. Now here in this case, what you can do is, here 3 copies are payment are running, right? You can make one of the application as spot. Okay, you can make this application as spot. This way, even though if Amazon terminates at any point of time because of any reason, still your payment application is available. This is one way of dealing the things. For example, the same thing, if you're using some ratings application, rating server, green, okay, so this way you can apply 70-30 principle. Here this is called as, okay, 70-30 principle, where the entire infrastructure can be, okay, 70% goes by on demand and 30% goes by spot. This way, even if any of the 30% of the machines goes for a toss or terminated, rest of the 70% of the machines can still accommodate the load. Okay, this is one of the best example that majority of my students who attends the interview says. Okay, this is a very best thing, okay, that you can even apply in your company. A lot of companies do that, and this kind of thing is called as a 70-30 principle, 60-40 principle, 50-50 principle, based on how serious your infrastructure is. Okay, this is one sweet way. Even in our training, okay, we are going to design the infrastructure keeping both in mind. Okay, in training also, we will follow the same approach by designing keeping 50-50 in mind. That means 50% of the workloads are on demand and 50% of the infrastructure is spot. Okay, this way, even if you lose certain missions, still your infrastructure will be up and running. Any questions on this usage of both spot and on demand? Any questions, anyone? Yeah, Shazi, go ahead.
So Manoj, like you mentioned, when we go with the spot, that 70-30 principle in production, the spot will be terminated within 24 hours, right? So wouldn't it be an impact?
That's a great question. Amazon terminates after some time. If Amazon still has a load, your machine will be coming up automatically, right? One more payment would be coming up, right? And if the machine comes up, the machine won't be having application. Agree?
Yeah.
Then how? That's where we are going to deal this. Okay, this is just an abstract blueprint. It's in theory, this is that, but in practically, that's a great question. His question is, if payment is terminated and Amazon recreates it one more time, that machine won't be having the data. That machine is not going to have application. It's just a blank machine, right? Then how come it is going to accommodate, or how come it is going to do payment transactions? That's a very great question. That's where automation comes up. We're going to talk about in a very detailed note. Okay, that's a really a great question. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Mohit, go ahead.
So my question is,
Can you speak a little loud?
so my question is, if we are, I can see that while we are setting all these instances, and it will take some little bit time, and while we are doing with this spot instance, and by
I
that
can
time,
barely hear you, Mohit. You're away from microphone.
am I audible now?
You are, yes.
Okay. My question is, while we are going for spot instances and we are creating maybe 30 instances, and by that time we create 30 and we are shutting it down by AWS. So how quick we can create the instance and how quick it can be terminated by the AWS? It will be an automated process. Right?
Yes. The answer is both yes and no. Amazon can terminate at any time. And you need to design the infrastructure assuming that even if spot instances are not there, your business should not be impacted 100%. That's the main goal. Okay. That's where the design aspects comes up. And second thing, how is it going to be happen and how quick it's going to happen? So the moment you place a spot request, it may or may not be processed immediately. Certain student says that, sir, sometimes it's taking 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm not able to get the request. My server is not provisioning when I place a spot request. So it all depends. For example, if you raise a request during Black Friday or Christmas, where people do online shopping, Amazon experiences huge demand. At that time, you might not get a spot instance because you're a low-paying customer, right? Amazon can say use the same hardware.
Is there any way that we can automatically generate these instances?
No, there is no such thing. It goes by bit. That's it. It goes by bit as per the availability. All right, that's a good question. Yeah, Prakash, hi, please tell me.
Yeah, hi Manoj, I'm audible.
Hey, hi. Good morning.
Hello.
Please tell me, Prakash.
Hello.
I can hear you, Prakash.
Hello, I'm audible to you?
You are loud and clear. Yes. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, Pawan, go ahead.
Hello.
Prakash, I can hear you, Prakash. Loud and clear. I can hear you. Okay. Prakash is having audio issue. Yeah, Pawan, over to you. Any questions?
Yes. Maintaining the...
Yeah, go ahead, Prakash or Pawan. Anyone?
Yeah, Prakash here.
Hey, hi. Please tell me, Prakash. Okay, all right. So, Pawan, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi Manoj.
Hello.
My question is, application maintaining the some data. Is the application is timeout. Then companies payment is some 5 to 10 minutes. Then the application data is store or not.
That's a good point. There are some solutions called as a queue managers. Okay, so you're doing a payment, and during that time, if your infra is down, what happens to the payment? That's the question.
Yes.
Yes, we
Yes.
have some solutions. Even in our training, we have some solutions called as queue manager. Okay, sometimes you send a message to me in SMS, it takes almost, and if I don't have a mobile network, what happens? Where the message store? After some time you get the message, right? Where the message is getting stored. The same
Yes.
concept is being applied here. We have a concept in our training called as a queue manager. In our training, we are going to have it. That's a very great point. So yes, we are going to use a concept called as queue manager that is going to accommodate that. Okay. All right.
Yes. Data
And
is
as I
stored
said,
in
this
queue.
training is very much close to the real-time expectations and real-time use cases. So majority of the use cases we got you covered. All right.
Manoj, I'm audible to you?
You are, Prakash. Even from the
I'm
beginning, I'm able to hear you.
I'm so sorry. Actually, something happened with my microphone.
You don't
Uh,
have to be sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead, please.
My question is that can we use this spot instances for auto scaling? This is my question.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Okay. And second question is that for example, I am looking for 100 dedicated instances, but currently I am using 70 of it. Okay, so when I'm seeking for 30 instances, then say example I have some payment APIs, so I
Okay,
have
hold
created.
on. Hold
Yeah.
on. When you're talking about dedicated, there is no such concept of spot. You're demanding an entire instance and there is no spot for that.
No,
Okay.
no. Let me complete my question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. So, for example, 70 of the instances I have been using currently, 30 is currently free. So, Amazon's open bid for spot instances for the remaining 30, for example. But now I'm seeking for 30 instances more. But currently, the payment API, for example, it needs to be configured over there also. So it will be automatically taking consideration of this, that whenever the dedicated host or dedicated person asks for the respective server, and that particular instance is looking for the payment API should be there on that. So it auto gonna maintain that thing, or we have to again do some automation for it.
There is no such stringent things, but if you are having such application demand, you put it as a part of the startup. Simple.
Okay.
Yeah, the answer is simple. There is no such stringent thing, but if you landed into that, do it with automation. Simple. Okay. All right. There is something called a startup script, which you can do that. And if the same application is dealt with, you make your own AMI for that application. You don't even have to do that automation. The moment it comes, it has everything.
Yes, yes, that's right.
All
Yes.
right.
Hello,
Okay.
Manoj. Just 1 second.
Hey, hi. Go ahead, Pawan.
Yeah, the data will be stored in queue manager. Then application will be restart also. Data will be stored in queue manager or not?
Uh, Data is a very broad word. Okay. There are
Okay.
different types of data. Since you asked about payment message, I talked about queue manager. When you're talking about data, data is not stored on application. Data will be stored on databases.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry,
Right?
sorry, sorry.
So those are different things. We'll talk about that when time comes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Data
Okay.
is a very complex word. So based on the classification of the data has to be organized. That
Yeah.
point you should be very clear. All
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Okay. I could also see a question, Anirudh Pratap. Can we design a schedule for when to start and when to shut down for the spot instance? Yes, Anirudh. In training, we are going to do that. Okay. That's a great point. Okay. So without any delay, let me go ahead and try to create a infrastructure. Okay. So let me try to go through the chat window meanwhile. Okay, there are some good questions, by the way. Okay, can we use auto scaling? What is auto scaling? Guys, don't worry about it. If you don't know what is auto scaling, certain terms that I'm using, do not worry about it. Okay, so I'm gonna teach everything, just like how I'm covering things from the basics. We're gonna address everything in a very detailed note. Do not worry. Okay, I'm gonna handle them. Okay, so all I expect is whatever I teach, whether you are able to understand, whether does that making sense or not. That is the only thing that I worry about. And if someone asks a question and I'm trying to explain, ensure that they are coming with some knowledge. Okay, so that's also okay. And attending the sessions in this kind of format always gives you an edge to learn something better always. Okay, because people who are coming from different mindset and different format, that always helps you, that always enables you to learn things in a very better way. Okay, all right. And that's the reason deliberately I keep on reading the questions that are posted in the channels. Okay, that's always a good to have thing. All right, perfect. All right, so let's try to see how can we create an spot instance. It's very simple, very straightforward. Okay, all you need to do is you just come here, launch an instance. First, I'll show you manually, and then we'll go and select the template for spot as well. Okay, so B56 Linux and spot instance. Spot. Okay, now all you need to do is browse the AMI, Linux Learning AMI. It's a CentOS 7 Linux Learning AMI. Go to the community tab and you can go. Come here and select that AMI. As usual, it's just like everything what we did so far, similar thing. Select the instance. The moment you select the instance, key pair is proceed without key pair as usual. And I would say T3.micro. I'll also show you about the bidding as well. What is the general price? How much you are ready to quote? All these things. And security group, select a security group. Selecting the security group, P56 allow all, just like how we have done. And advanced. Every one of you, if you look at the bottom of my screen, there is an option called as advanced. Okay, please open that advanced tab. Okay, in the advanced tab, if you scroll down, there is an option called as spot. Where is that? Yeah, can you see this? Purchasing option is spot. Okay, in the spot option, the moment you select the spot option, it comes up, but you won't get an option to shut down. Click on the customize, and once you click on the customize, you can select no maximum price. Okay, that means you're not telling what is the maximum price that you can offer. You can also mention what is the maximum price. Okay, you can mention what is the maximum price. You can go to the pricing calculator or the pricing option that I have shown in the spot pricing history, and you can mention I'm ready to pay maximum $1 per hour, and I'm not ready to pay beyond that. If someone says 0.8, 0.7, 0.5, you are the one who will be given highest priority. But don't go with that right now. Just go with the no maximum price. And the request type, I want every one of you to select persistent. Okay, the moment you select the persistent, you will get an option of shutdown as well. Okay, so that's it. You do not have to do anything. You're placing a request. What you're doing is, okay, it says that launch instance interruption behavior is not supported in the, okay, all right, edit the instance configuration. Did I miss anything? Another option that I forgot, shutdown option should be stop. Okay, one more option. Yeah, go to that. Okay, request type is persistent, and okay, request type is persistent, and interruption behavior. Okay, the interruption behavior is stop. Okay, whenever Amazon terminates, whenever Amazon wants to take the instance back, okay, it can even terminate, it will even stop. Interruption behavior is stop. Okay, all right, now launch the instance. It would be coming up. What exactly you're doing is you're not really creating an instance. And if you see this, successfully initiated the launch of an instance. Okay, what you're doing is you're placing a spot request. Okay, what you're doing is you're placing a spot request. And that request is placing a, okay. And if the resources are available, then instance is launched. And you know what? If you straight away go ahead and terminate this instance, it even assumes that it is launched by, it is terminated by Amazon. If you terminate this instance, automatically one more instance will come up. if there is capacity. Okay, lot of people will does this mistake. Lot of people during the training, hey Manu, looks like my account is hacked. I'm trying to create a server and I practiced this and I'm terminated the server, but now it is automatically creating. Yes, it is expected. Okay, whenever you do not want a server, all you need to do is you just need to say, I do not want the server by canceling the request. Okay, so you're placing a request, spot request, and that request is provisioning a server. And when you don't want that, you need to cancel the request. When you cancel the request, that is going to terminate the instance. Okay, so placing a spot request, then instance is lost. And when you don't want it, cancel the request, that will terminate the instance. Okay, so once the request is placed, then you're going to launch the instance and then you're going to terminate the instance. Okay, then automatically it is going to create. Keep this point in mind. Okay, when you place a spot request, the request is creating a server. When you don't want a spot server, you need to cancel the request. That request will cancel the server. If not, if you straight away go ahead and terminate this instance, automatically one more instance would be coming up. You need to be very diligent on that point. Okay. Now my machine is up. Come here. Okay. You can copy the IP address. Come here and try to exit. Exit is a command to exit is like sign off. Okay. Yes. Password is that's all. You're connected. Who am I? Is a Linux command which is going to show who you are. Okay, and that's for today, guys. And I'm gonna hold the session for today. And yeah, I would like to take up the questions. And just a proof, I'm gonna terminate the server, see what will happen. Okay, and yeah, that's for today. And people whosoever has confirmed their enrollment, thank you very much for people whosoever has confirmed their enrollment. And majority of the people who confirm their enrollment, they would have already got an email with all the onboarding instructions. And in case if you haven't received, please confirm your enrollment. And that's for today. And I'm ready to take up the question. Any questions, anyone? And I'm good. Any questions you can. And again, as I said, meeting link remains the same. Okay, meeting link remains the same. Okay, and session timings also remains the same. Meeting link remains same and session timings also remains the same. And see you tomorrow in the session. And that's for today. And with that note, I'm ready to take up the questions. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. I could see a couple of hands. Yeah, Mohit Sharma, go ahead. Mohit or Pawan. I could also see Mozam hand. Mozam, hi. Any questions, guys? Mozam, would you like to speak? If you're speaking, I'm not able to hear
Yes,
you.
Manoj, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. Please tell me.
Okay, I have a question. Someone told me that you need to know Python in order to work as a DevOps engineer. Do we need to learn that too?
It's not really true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like contingent. If you know Python, then only you'll become a DevOps engineer. That's not true. Knowing is always a big deal. Even if you say, if I know Java, can I be a good DevOps engineer? The answer is yes. Addition is always a better thing. Okay. But first you need to know why you need Python. That is first point. Okay. That can be done more effectively in a different approach if you use bash. Again, it all boils down to what you do. If you're looking for application management or application development, Python makes more sense. But if you're dealing with configuration management and if your infra is majorly of Linux based, you can do majority of the things with bash in a more effective way. Since in this training we focus more in a Linux oriented approach, and we also deal with a Linux based project, so we focus more on bash needed things. Okay. All right.
Right.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pawan, any questions to you?
Hello.
Hey, hi Pawan, please tell me.
Yeah, yeah. Some companies is asking to like Python is not, but Python scripting. Yeah, asking to some Python scripting.
See, they even ask you, do you know Pulumi? Okay, which is a infrastructure as a code strategy, which certain companies uses, right? In the roadmap I have shown, I have taken 4 job descriptions. See, companies will always ask a lot of things. It's all about you need to communicate. Okay. I dealt a lot of automations using these things. So for example, if someone asks me what works I have done, I can clearly show, but it's not a big deal. Okay. Learning always has an edge, but it's not like don't have to know everything. But if you really want Python, yes, I can also share that. That's not a big deal. Yeah. If in the training, if anyone asks, are you going to teach Python? Yeah, we can also learn that. That's not a big deal. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Any other questions, anyone? But yes, not in the middle of the training. If people wants, yes, we can even learn that at the end. Okay. That's not a big deal. I could see one question from DAW. Hi.
Hi, Manoj. The question is around the queue
May I know
manager.
your name?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. May I know your name?
Devakar.
Devakar, please tell me.
Yeah. The question is that you talked about the queue manager, which will be able to handle any of the, any incoming traffic or any kind of processing that might be happening while the server goes down, while the instance goes down, spot instance goes down.
No.
Would it also handle the data side of it? Let's say if a service is writing something to the database and the instance goes down, what happens then?
All right. So the question, small correction to your question. When I answered the queue manager, he really doesn't mean what you meant. He meant he did a payment, and after that the transaction got successful. Then immediately the server got failed. Then what happens? So at that time, here he's talking about a message acknowledgement. Okay. But in your case, you're talking about you're writing a data to the database, which immediately shut down. What happens to the data that is training? Right. And that's the reason we do not typically, if you're talking about on-prem solution, so there is something called as synchronous and asynchronous replication of data. Okay. So whatever you write here, immediately it copies. And particularly for the write operation, there is also, I mean, others don't think that it's too advanced concept. Okay. There is a concept. Okay, let's to keep it simple. There is something called a synchronous and asynchronous replication that ensures you don't lose the data or the transaction don't be committed unless until the transaction is logged. But in Amazon Cloud and managed services, we are going to use services like as RDS, okay, DocDB, okay, which offers out of the box abilities if you select I want this option in a more matured way. Okay. In our training, we are going to use both of them. So you'll never land into such situations. Amazon takes care of it.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
All right. Okay. That's it, guys. And that's for today. And meeting link remains the same and session timings remains the same. See you tomorrow. And if you like the content, please ensure you confirm your enrollment. And that's for today, guys. Okay. I could also see another hand. Hediyat, hi. You can talk.
Hi, Manoj.
Hey, hi.
Yeah, I have a last question with regards to spot instances. Now you have placed a request and you have launched some instances. Okay, after since you have not cancelled your spot request and you left for today, and by tomorrow this request will be by default cancelled, or
it creates
will
one
be
more instance.
One more instance. It will be creating.
Yes. After some time, you'll also see one more instance comes up here. Can you see this? I didn't create this instance. Did you see this?
Yeah.
I want to show that. If I want this to be cancelled, all I need to do is I should come here and then I need to cancel the request. Okay. You are placing a request and that request is creating a server. When you want to terminate the server, you need to come here and cancel the request, and that request will cancel the server.
Okay. And since in the description you have said that it is going to be it is not going to last more than 24 hours.
Yes.
So
you
that
cannot
means
run continuously for more than 24 hours, even if you have
the
Amazon
request will
allows.
last forever.
Yes, the
Unless
request will
until
last
you
forever.
cancel.
Yes, that's 100% true.
Thank you.
Yes, that's 100% true, Hadia. That's a great point, by the way. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Perfect, guys. And that's for today. And thank you very much. Signing off for the day. And we're going to meet tomorrow. Thank you. Signing off.